In the second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other. After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water. Green. The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river.
A new report has come out detailing some of the tragic details surrounding the January 29th Black Hawk helicopter crash. Let's talk about it.
Your side pressing for answers from federal investigators after a stunning new report on the mid-air collision that killed 67 people over the Potomac River. From pilot error to tower staffing issues, the details of this new New York Times report are stunning, shocking. Let's get to Liana Golden, who is at Reagan National Airport for us tonight. Liana, you spoke with an aviation expert to break this down.
As he fully expects tighter rules and regulations to come from the FAA and the NTSB surrounding this airspace, as more details have come out about this crash that experts have called likely preventable.
I'm sure the FAA and the NTSB will be looking at why this particular communications device was turned off.
Aviation expert and WTOP anchor Dan Ronan says the New York Times report that a real-time location device called ADS-B Out, which reports the helicopter's position every second, was switched off for security reasons the night of the crash, is a bombshell.
Since they were simulating taking a high-ranking government official out of Washington, D.C., you don't want them to know where the helicopter's at or who is on board, clearly. But this wasn't an actual emergency. This was a training mission. Had the ADS-B been turned on, it's very possible that the pilot and the co-pilot of the American Airlines flight would have been able to see what was coming and take evasive action.
Another key takeaway of the Times report reveals a clipped microphone in the helicopter may have caused the crew in the chopper to miss critical information.
When you hear a command from air traffic control, you repeat it back to clarify that you have indeed heard it. But if another microphone gets keyed, and in a busy airspace like Washington, D.C., not uncommon to have multiple 7, 8, 9 aircraft on one frequency, someone keys that microphone, and the pilot of the Black Hawk apparently never heard the command from the air traffic controller.
Another significant issue Ronan points to in the report, the American Airlines flight was directed to a different runway on approach due to a crowded airspace.
Real quick, so before we continue on, make sure you stick around because I'm going to go into an article that goes into a bit more detail. If you appreciate content like this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But one thing I noticed that while we were all discussing why and how this might have happened, people were automatically becoming defensive, saying that it wasn't any pilot error that caused it. I mean, there were a multitude of factors, no doubt, but pilot error on a multitude of occasions seemed to have been a big aspect of it. Keying the mic, people talking over each other, missing signals. Who knows what the details were surrounding the that one device being turned on. It just seems like, as they stated earlier, that it seemed as if this whole thing could have been preventable on multiple levels. And I'm not simply just blaming the pilot. It seemed like there were many places where this whole thing could have been avoided, potentially.
Putting the two aircraft in the same airspace.
Had that aircraft, the American Airlines regional jet, landed on runway 1, as it had originally been called to do, this never would have happened.
7 News has reached out to the FAA, the Army, and the NTSB about the details in this report. So far, only the NTSB has replied, directing us back to their preliminary report issued back on March 11th. Josh.
So we have that. Now let's go to this article that I came across that goes into a bit more detail. Black Hawk pilot Rachel Lobach ignored instructions. Now, I wonder if it was she just didn't hear them, because the New York Times article claims, and I'm not saying that New York Times is necessarily the best source of unbiased information, but this is what they said, is that it seemed as if there were there was talking over each other because the mic was being keyed while the control tower, I'm assuming, was trying to give different instructions. Ignored instructions before mid-air collision over Potomac River. Because some people are thinking that this might have been intentional. When you hear the words ignored, missing multiple commands or instructions to change your direction, who knows? Hopefully we'll find out one day. The pilot of the Black Hawk military helicopter that collided with a passenger airplane over Washington, D.C. in January ignored instructions to change course moments before the crash took place, according to a report by the New York Times. Captain Rebecca Lobach, piloting the Black Hawk, was undergoing an annual flight evaluation at the time, while her co-pilot, Chief Warrant Officer 2, Andrew Lloyd Eves, served as the flight instructor. Air traffic controllers had warned the helicopter crew about a nearby passenger airline, and both Lobach and Eves acknowledged the warning, opting to proceed under visual separation. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. This is a method where pilots are allowed to continue flying in the area by using their own observation rather than adhering to instructions from air traffic control. The report said the Black Hawk was only 15 seconds from crossing paths with the passenger jet when Eves informed Lobach that he believed air traffic control wanted them to turn left toward the East River bank. Quote, turning left would have opened up more space between the helicopter and Flight 5342, which was heading from runway 33 at an altitude of roughly 300 feet. She did not turn left, the New York Times reported. Lobach served as an aviation officer in the Army since 2019 and had around 500 hours of flying time in the Black Hawk. The Army confirmed in a release. She was also a White House military social aide under the Biden administration. The crash took place on January 29th over the Potomac River, killing all 64 passengers, just horrible, who were on board an American Airlines flight from Kansas, as well as 3 Black Hawk crew members. The helicopter appeared to be flying too high at the time of the collision. Additionally, radio communication between controllers and pilots broke down. Quote, multiple layers of safety precautions failed that night, said Katie Thompson, the Federal Aviation Administration's deputy administrator under President Biden. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are expected to issue a final report on the cause of the crash in 2026. Following the crash, President Trump posted in Truth, the airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight to the airplane for an extended period of time. He continued, it is a clear night. The lights of the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good. Well, he took a lot of criticism, as always, with whatever he says, but what it seems clear that he got right was that it looked like it could have been prevented. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll hear more sooner than 2026. I wonder why it takes so long to get these investigations completed, but conversation for another day. If you appreciate content like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Before you go, check out this video above. I think you'll appreciate it.